Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. It is UEFA Super Cup time as the 15-time Champions League winners Real Madrid take on Europa League winners Atalanta. This was the Italian side first ever European trophy. Real Madrid won yet another Champions League at Wembley last season, taking on and defeating the yellow wall of Borussia Dortmund. And despite a double for Real last season, they have gone on and added to their squad with Kylian Mbappé on a free. The Frenchman makes his competitive debut tonight. For Atalanta, it was their first trophy for 61 years as their Lookman hat-trick in Dublin saw the Italian side become the only team last season to beat Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen. This campaign will see Atalanta in the Champions League after being absent from the competition for the last two seasons. The two teams have met twice before, and that was in the Champions League last 16 back in 2021. Real Madrid won both games home and away with an aggregate scoreline of 4-1. With Warsaw being the venue tonight for the 2024 UEFA Super Cup final, will Real Madrid win their sixth of those titles, or can Atalanta spring an upset and win just their second ever European title? Of course, Real Madrid will be heavy favourites. Just looking at their starting 11 scares me. It's just incredible. That front three, midfield, defence, got just everything in that Real Madrid starting 11. It's just got so much quality. And you feel like Kylian Mbappé just almost is a little bit just being selfish. I feel like Real Madrid are just being selfish, adding Kylian Mbappé to their team. You know, last season when they brought in Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund, they almost used him as that kind of central forward, not exactly being the out-and-out striker, because obviously Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior would almost come inside from the wingers to kind of take up two striking roles. But Bellingham will definitely not have to be relied upon as much for his goals, because Jude Bellingham last season scored plenty for Real Madrid. Got 19 in La Liga, 4 in the Champions League, which were all in the group stage. So, you know, if Bellingham can still apply those numbers this season, you know, it's going to be scary, because this season he might have to be, you know, looked upon as more of a creative source, trying to get those balls through to the likes of Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, and Kylian Mbappé, because, you know, the Frenchman had a pretty unfortunate Euros, I'd say. Kylian Mbappé, of course, suffered that broken nose in the opening game, only scored once, and that was in the final group game from the penalty spot against Poland. And France were eventually knocked out at the semi-final stage by Spain. But, you know, Kylian Mbappé will be so excited for this new season. Almost trapped a little bit at PSG at times in terms of winning, you know, not major silverware, because I don't want to disrespect the French league, but you know, they got to the Champions League final once during the COVID season. They got to the semi-finals a couple of times. But overall, you know, this is Kylian Mbappe's time to really show what he is made of in a different league, in a league that is a better quality. And, you know, what will definitely help Kylian Mbappé is the fact that he will be surrounded by the best players in the world as well. So he should really thrive at Real Madrid. So we'll have to just wait and see, and you know, let's just hope that this Real Madrid team don't look too strong, because you know, other teams in Europe will what a chance of winning the Champions League, as it looks like Real Madrid will be looking to try and win their 16th Champions League this season. They have won 5 Super Cups previously, last winning it 2 years ago against Frankfurt, and the time before that was against Manchester United, also in 2018. But they have got a very difficult task tonight against Atalanta, who completely outclassed Leverkusen in that Europa League final in Dublin. They also finished 4th in Serie A on 69 points, which is a very respectable finish in the Italian league. It's a very difficult league, Serie A, with so many high quality and high quality teams with so much quality. And the only thing that is in Real Madrid's favour, I know the Spanish side lost Camavinga due to injury yesterday. He is named on the bench, but I think that's just to fill numbers. You know, he's got a leg brace on and everything, so Camavinga won't feature tonight. I think he's going to miss the next month and a half of football. But Atalanta have got their players missing as well. They are missing the young centre-half of Scalvini, who came on during that Europa League final. They're also missing Coot Miners. Could be injury, but he's also linked with a move away. Coot Miners. Zaniolo, a new signing, who was on loan at Aston Villa last season. He is also out injured, and their main man, their new number 9, Gianluca Scamacca, is also injured. So, Coot Miners and Scamacca are definitely, Atalanta's 2 best players alongside Ademola Lookman. So it's not exactly like Atalanta are at full strength to say, but a lot of the team that did start that final against Leverkusen do start again tonight, and we will go through both sets of lineups now in a little bit more detail. Of course, you can see them on screen. If you are new, if you could like, subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you've got any score predictions as well, put them in the chat. We're going to start with the Champions League winners of Real Madrid, and it is going to be Thibaut Courtois in goal. Was not featured, was not selected to go to the Euros with Belgium, but did play the full 90 minutes in that Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund. Back 4 of captain Dani Carvajal, who takes the armband off Nacho Fernandez, who's left Real Madrid. The left back will be Ferland Mendy, who was in the France squad for the Euros but didn't play a single minute, and 2 centre-halves of the South American Eder Militao and the German international of Antonio Rudiger. 2 holding midfielders, Aurelien Tchouameni. With him alongside him is going to be Federico Valverde, who takes the number 8 off Toni Kroos, who retired in the summer. There's going to be a Jude Bellingham, always playing like a number 10 role, even though he's number 5 for Real Madrid. He scored 23 goals in all competitions last season for the Spanish side. 2 wingers on the right will be Rodrigo, on the left it will be Vinicius Jr., and through the middle, leading the line up front, will be Kylian Mbappé, who during his Real Madrid presentation had 80,000 fans there at the Santiago Bernabeu, and he has labelled this a dream for him to play for this club. As for Atalanta, it is just 2 changes from that team that beat Leverkusen 3-0 in Dublin in the Europa League final. Juan Musso keeps his spot in goal with a back 3 of Berat Jimsiti, Isaac Hien and Sed Kolasinac, with a midfield 3 of right wing back Davide Zappacosta, formerly of Chelsea. On the left will be Matteo Ruggeri, who has come through the Atalanta Academy. 2 central midfielders of captain Martin de Roon, who was injured for that Europa League final, but did make himself on the bench, but was never going to feature. But he does feature tonight in this Super Cup final. And alongside him is Italian Edison, who was involved in the Copa America for Brazil. And then 3 forwards in the number 10 role will be Mario Pasalic, also formerly of Chelsea, and 2 up front of Charles De Ketelaere, who made his move permanent this summer after a loan spell at Atalanta last season, scoring 14 goals in all competitions. And alongside him was the hero of the final, and that is Ademola Lookman, who scored his first ever Atalanta hat-trick in that final. And they'll be looking for a similar performance tonight from the Nigerian, as it looks like we're about to get underway here in Warsaw. It is the PGE Narodowy Stadium. Just holds over 56,000 supporters. Tonight's referee is also Sandro Scherer, Swiss referee, 36 years of age. And we're waiting for his whistle to get the Super Cup final underway. As it's Atalanta to kick us off, kicking left to right. It is Real Madrid right to left for this first half. It's a header away from Eder Militao, as a long ball forward from Atalanta has been dealt with. Another header forward by Kolasinac. Bit of head tennis at the moment as it falls to Rodrigo on the halfway line. Tries to flick it forward but slips, and said Kolasinac kicks it back to his goalkeeper of Juan Musso. Out to the left wing back of Ruggeri. Can't find Ademola Lookman, who controlled with the chest by Militao on halfway. Tries to lift it in behind there for Rodrigo, just slightly overhit, and it is in the hands of the goalkeeper of Juan Musso for Atalanta. As again, header away from Mendy. Finds Vinicius Jr., drifts in from the left into a central area. Kicked away from him, but falls to Valverde, as Real Madrid have the first look of an attack in this game, as we're in the centre circle here with Tchouameni, who's just sat next to both of the centre-backs here. That's Bellingham. He's been forced to go all the way back to Courtois on the edge of the 18-yard box there for Real Madrid, and here's the Brazilian number 3, Eder Militao, who did play the full 90 minutes in Real Madrid's last Super Cup final against Frankfurt. Here is Mbappé's first touches of the ball in a Real Madrid shirt. Finds Rodrigo, who is taken down by Kolasinac, and on that right wing it will be a free kick for Real Madrid. Well won there by the number 11, Rodrigo, who failed to score in the 4 appearances he made at the Copa America in the summer. Signed a contract extension last season, extending his stay here till at least 2028. As they've gone short with the free kick, it's still with Real Madrid. Every outfield player inside the Atalanta half, as it's on the far side here with Dani Carvajal, who of course had a brilliant summer, take away the Champions League win for him, which he scored in that final as well to put Real Madrid 1-0 up. He also won the Euros, Real Madrid's number 2, sent off in the quarter-final against Germany, missed the semi-final against France, but returned for the final against England, and they were successful in that final in Berlin, as Rudiger has it on the halfway line, turning away from De Ketelaere. And it's now with Eder Militao out to the right back, Carvajal, who has space to bring it forward here. Goes to Valverde, the new number 8 for Real Madrid, was number 15. Mbappé, who is pushed to ground by Hien, and that's going to be a free kick for Real Madrid. Just about midway inside the Atalanta half, Kylian Mbappé just dropping slightly deeper for the ball, and he was followed all the way there by Isaac Hien, the Swedish centre-half, who was brought in January from Hellas Verona for Atalanta. It does look like Kylian Mbappé will mainly be playing through the middle, but they can definitely mix around who plays where. There's so much versatility in that Real Madrid attack. As Vinicius Jr. in a central area, plays out to the right to Mbappé, kicked away from him by Kolasinac on the edge of the area, along as far as Tchouameni. We're still waiting for the first shot on goal in this final, just over 3 minutes in. Still Real Madrid 0, Atalanta 0. As Vinicius Jr. caught in the face there by Isaac Hien, and that's going to be a free kick for Real Madrid on this near side. Quite far out, so no opportunity for a shot, but certainly an area or an angle to get a cross in here. I think Vinicius Jr. is definitely overplaying the contact, but it's a foul. He was slightly caught in the face, but he didn't have to roll around the way he did. It's taken short by Valverde to find Vinicius Jr., who runs into the 18-yard box, takes it towards the byline, crosses it, and he can keep it in, and it's a corner. As it deflected off Zappa Costa, it looks like he may have just overran that Vinicius Jr., but he just about kicked it off the Italian wing-back to win his side a corner kick here, just under 4 minutes in, still goalless, still waiting for the first shot of the final. Rodrigo curls it in towards the 6-yard box. It's a header won there by De Ketelaere for Atalanta, and it'll be Zappa Costa to get onto the second ball. Can't quite chop beyond Dani Carvajal, who tackles him well, and Real Madrid have it back in the Atalanta half. It's now back in their own half with Federico Valverde. Tried to get away there, Davide Zappa Costa, but Dani Carvajal said no. And it's been a dominant start here from Real Madrid, as you would expect. Spent their pre-season out in America, playing the likes of AC Milan, Barcelona and Chelsea, losing 2, winning the 1 against Chelsea. Mbappe's been fed through in the box. He's got his back to goal at the moment, then faces forward, surrounded by blue and black shirts, but can just about poke it to Mendy. It's now with Bellingham, about 30 yards from goal, goes back here to Tchouameni. Everyone behind the ball here for Atalanta. An almost moment there for Mbappé as he collects it again, finds Vinicius Jr., who is tripped by Hien. That's his 3rd foul of the game. And surely the referee is going to have a word here to the Atalanta number 4. That's 3 separate fouls now. I think the referee is telling him how long we've been playing and how many fouls he's already committed. I think it's one more for the Swedish international, and it'll be a yellow card for him. I think he's quite fortunate he's not already been booked, the amount of fouls he's given away. But there is Gianpiero Gasperini, the head coach of Atalanta. Been at the club now for 8 years, 388 games now in charge, just over 200 wins. As Valverde sends it to this near side to Vinicius Jr. Final third, 1-on-1 with Zappa Costa. Early cross, headed away on the edge of the area by Ederson. Controlled by Lookman, waiting for support. And there is space out wide left here to Ruggeri, who will take it beyond the halfway line for Atalanta. Looks for the switch to the near side. Controlled by De Ketelaere. He's got the overlap of Zappa Costa and uses him and finds him in the area. Zappa Costa needs to find the pullback. Kicks it off Mendy, but there's a foul in the box off the ball. And it's a free kick for Real Madrid. But the first major opening has come for Atalanta, despite the dominant start with the possession for Real Madrid. Good overlapping run from Zappacosta, and well found there by De Ketelaere. He was onside, and Lookman just tripped and shoved Militao in the 6-yard box as he tried to find a bit of room, and the referee saw it off the ball and gave Real Madrid the free kick. But it's definitely a positive sign that for Atalanta that they could possibly hurt Real Madrid on the counter-attack. As Courtois goes long here, out to the Real Madrid right-hand side, header away though by Kolasinac, can't be kept in by Ruggeri, and midway inside the Italian side's half, it is a Real Madrid throw-in. It's been forced back into their own half here to the number 3 of Eder Militao, who started 4 of the games at the Copa America for Brazil, but missed the quarter-final against Uruguay, where Brazil were eventually knocked out of the competition. Courtois, long again up towards Mbappé this time, but Hean wins the header. Can't be played forward by Kolasinac, deflects back to the number 4 for Atalanta of Hean. Heads it to his left to Ederson. It's now the wing-back Ruggeri, playing it to his goalkeeper in the 18-yard box of Juan Musso, the Argentine, who will clip it out to the right side here, looking for Zappacosta. He'll challenge with Mendy, both miss. Contact with the ball, and that'll be a throw-in for Real Madrid. On this near side with their number 23, Ferland Mendy, who came through at PSG for 8 years before moving on to Lyon later on in his career, where he was signed from by Real Madrid for 48 million euros, as he can't quite intercept that pass from De Ketelaere, and it switched out to the left of the halfway line to Ruggeri, as it's now Atalanta on the ball. Still 0-0 here in Warsaw. Lookman going into the centre circle here to ease it Hean. It's now the number 8 of Pasalic for Atalanta. Out to the far side to Kolasinac, round the corner looking for the captain Darun. Cleared on the edge of the area by Rudiger. Throwing in the final third for Atalanta. As of course they've had to do a lot of defending early on, but here's a little break for them as Lookman on the edge of the area. Can't quite work it away from Militao. Deflects off the Brazilian and he will chase it down here, the number 3. But will give up the chase as it was quite obvious it was going to fall to the feet of said Kolasinac. Atalanta had their first real spell on the ball here with the right centre-half of Berat Jim City, who played every minute in the Euros for Albania. They were pretty much in the group of death, weren't able to qualify through, but definitely put themselves in the Euros in terms of their performances. They definitely caused issues for the likes of Croatia and Italy as well, as Valverde tumbles over the foul of Ederson, and he's the one who's picked up the first booking. Sandro Sciarra, the referee, just explaining his decision there to the number 13, Ederson. Just hands around the waist of Valverde. Just outside the centre circle in the Atalanta half. Seems a little bit harsh to me. That's a booking, especially the fact I think it was his first foul. But it is a yellow card for Ederson, who started that Europa League final and started every knockout game in that run to win the Europa League. The 25-year-old central midfielder. It was his first ever season in a European competition for Ederson, and he won it, which was a great success for the South American. As Real Madrid go along to the edge of the box, Vinicius Junior can't quite win the header. Now Zappacosta lifts it to De Ketelaere, dispossessed by Jude Bellingham. But I think the referees pulled it back for the foul on Zappacosta as he released it to De Ketelaere. He was brought down, and the referees pulled it back for a foul. 10 minutes in here in Warsaw. It's Real Madrid 0, Atalanta 0. And Zappacosta stayed down here. I think it was Ferland Mendy, the one who caught him. It looks like he's just hurt the ear area, maybe his neck or ear. But Zappacosta does seem in slight discomfort here. The 32-year-old, who also won the Europa League in 2019 with Chelsea in his spell in England. Carlo Ancelotti, just a few discussions there with Jude Bellingham. Won every Super Cup final he's managed, Carlo Ancelotti. Won it against Porto in 2003, Sevilla in 2007, Sevilla again in 2014, and then Frankfurt in 2022. So he definitely likes to start the season with a win. Ancelotti, when he plays in the Super Cup, I'm not exactly sure what happened there to Zappacosta. They have just shown a replay, but don't quite know where the contact really came from, in all honesty. Something to do with his ear. I think as he was falling to the ground, I think the studs of Ferland Mendy just caught his ear. Looked accidental to me. It didn't look like Ferland Mendy was exactly looking at him to try and catch him with his studs. So hopefully Zappacosta will be okay to continue, because that'd be quite a disappointing way to have to go off in a Super Cup final. Zappacosta's got some kind of hairnet on there. Never seen that before. Yeah, it's like a hairnet he's got on to cover his ear. I've never seen that, and I'm not trying to bring some kind of comedy. He's genuinely got what looks like a hairnet on, covering his ear. That is ridiculous. I mean, if you've got Twitter or anything, and you can try and have a look at what he's got on his head, I mean, you don't really need to go and look for it. It literally looks like a hairnet. That's ridiculous. He's back on and he shoves Ferland Mendy to the ground, not seen as a foul by the referee. And De Ketelaere now can play it inside into the box to Pasalic. Lifts it towards Lookman, headed away by Militao. Rolls towards Rodrigo, who beats Edison to the ball. Rodrigo midway side zone half, tackled by Kolasinac, who finds Lookman on the edge of the area, takes on Militao, and left-footed ball across the box, and it's well held by Thibaut Courtois at the near post. And Atalanta creating the more dangerous openings here in the opening 13 minutes of the game. I mean, Real Madrid have had more of the ball, but they've not really hurt Atalanta in terms of going through them. But Atalanta have got him behind a couple of times now. And Lookman just couldn't quite find anyone in the 18-yard box there with that low drill ball into the area. But if you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Next commentary is this Sunday as Brentford take on Crystal Palace as the Premier League returns this weekend. As Courtois has it for Real Madrid on the edge of the area, sends it to the left back Ferland Mendy, who's midway side zone half. Goes back here to Thibaut Courtois, who's also won 2 Super Cup finals of his own with Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, as he goes long here towards the edge of the 18-yard box for Atalanta, headed away there by Jim City. It's now Zappacosta on this near side, goes forward towards De Ketelaere, can't quite win it ahead of Ferland Mendy, and it's now back in the Real Madrid half here with Eder Militao. As Real Madrid will be looking not just to defend the Champions League this season, but also the La Liga title. They've not won back-to-back La Liga titles since the 06-07 season, going through to the 07-08 season. So it's been a while since they've been able to defend the Spanish league title for Real Madrid. Of course, always battling with Barcelona usually, but Atletico's also won the odd title in the recent history of the division. Carvajal, halfway line, far side, trying to go forward, and he finds the pass forward to Valverde, who gets away from Edison. Valverde in the box, low ball back, and it's towards Mbappé, who shoots, then it's well blocked by Hean for Atalanta. Cleared forward to Lookman, who holds it up and finds De Ketelaere. Is he tripped by Carvajal? He is, according to the referee. And that'll be a free kick on the halfway line for Atalanta. First shooting opportunity there for Real Madrid, and it fell to Kylian Mbappé, but it was well blocked. Looked like he got good connection to the ball. Mbappé, we're just less than 15 minutes in here in Warsaw. It's still Real Madrid 0, Atalanta 0. As for Atalanta, from what they've shown in pre-season, it's been rather worrying. Played 3 games that I could find, and 0 wins. Played AZ Alkmaar in Alkmaar and drew 2-2. Then lost 4-1 to Parma and 3-0 to St. Pauli in Hamburg. So quite a worrying start to pre-season, but they are missing quite a few first-team players, as Real Madrid have it. Lookman just slipping there in the midway side of the Real Madrid half, so it's back with the Spanish side, who did play 1 friendly in Spain at their training ground before going on to America, where they lost 1-0 to AC Milan in Chicago, lost 2-1 to Barcelona in New Jersey, and then won 2-1 against Chelsea in North Carolina. As Bellingham sent away down the left-hand side, it's a brilliant ball. He's in the final third. He's got Mbappé in the box. He's going to look for him. Can't quite find him. Well dealt with by Martin de Roon. It's now with the right wing back as Zappacosta. Vinicius Junior trying to win it back as Zappacosta faces his own goal, plays it to Martin de Roon, who tries to clear it across the pitch, but it's fell to Valverde, who's 25 yards from goal, peeling out to the right-hand side, playing it forward for Rodrigo in the area. Looking for Mbappé, completes a quick 1-2 with the Frenchman. It's now Valverde, back out wide now to Carvajal. Time for a first-time cross towards Vinicius Junior. Just goes beyond the Brazilian. Threw himself at it, couldn't make contact. It's gone out for an Atalanta throw-in on this near side, right next to the corner flag. It's a brilliant ball by Dani Carvajal, the 32-year-old, who has scored himself in a Super Cup final against Sevilla back in 2016. Trying to provide for a goal there, Carvajal, but couldn't quite be met by Vinicius Junior. And the Brazilian also had a bit of a disappointing Copa America, scoring a brace against Paraguay, but then got himself suspended for that quarter-final against Uruguay, which which Brazil ended up losing. So, not all a success in the summer for Vinicius Junior, who was assisted in his only Super Cup final. Real Madrid's number 7, assisted in that game against Frankfurt 2 years ago. As Real Madrid have it, Courtois with it, lifting it up towards Mbappé. He beats him to it, volleys it away deep into the Real Madrid half to the right-back Carvajal, who heads it forward as far as Ederson heads it forward himself. Bit of the ball just bouncing around there and eventually dropped to Carvajal, who sends it to the goalkeeper of Thibaut Courtois. Now at the age of 32 himself, now Courtois, the 6'6" Belgian. Got a contract for another 2 years here at Real Madrid. Suffered that ACL injury at the start of last season, returned in March of this year. Played 5 times, 4 in La Liga, 3 starts. And of course, played the final of the Champions League and didn't concede a goal in any of those games last season. The former Atletico Madrid goalkeeper. As it's now Atalanta with it on halfway line here. Here's Pasalic. Goes into the centre circle here to Jim City. Plenty of time on the ball here for the Albanian international. It's out to his near side to Zappacosta. Stood right in front of Carlo Ancelotti. It's now exactly on the halfway line with de Roon. Jim City, midway side his own half. Wants to go forward. He goes across to the left here to Sed Kolasinac, formerly of Arsenal. Pasalic, the Croatian, was a part of the Croatia squad for the Euros, which were knocked out at the group stage. Ederson, as Atalanta camping the Real Madrid half for now. Just under 19 minutes played, still 0-0 here. Atalanta have definitely created more openings so far, but Real Madrid have dominated the ball. But we are just experiencing a little bit of Atalanta possession here, as for Real Madrid, it's a 3.5-hour flight for them out to Warsaw. For Atalanta, it's just the 2 hours. As Lookman on the halfway line works space away from Militao, then plays it forward here for Ruggeri, who's in a central area from the left wing-back position. It's now out to the right wing-back of Zappacosta, floats it into the area. First header won by Rudiger. Ferland Mendy lets it bounce, shielding the ball away, can't kick it that far away. Still in the final third here for Ruggeri, who took up a right wing position here. Then de Roon inside to Jim City, the centre-half, tries to slip it through in the box for De Ketelaere. Just overhit, couldn't quite find the new permanent signing of Charles De Ketelaere, who they brought in from AC Milan after having him on loan last season. And he goes out for a goal kick. Like I say, just talking about Mbappe's chance there, got really good contact on the ball. It's Real Madrid's first shot of the game, but it was well blocked. Isaac Hien was stood pretty much right in front of him, doing his defensive positioning well there as we've hit the 20th minute mark. Still goalless here. Took penalties last year for the Super Cup as Manchester City beat Sevilla. Let's see if we get this done in 90 tonight, or we might need extra time in the penalties. Both of these two clubs' season start at the weekend. Real Madrid travel to Mallorca and Atalanta travel to Lecce. Atalanta's first 3 league games are all away from home. They've got Lecce, then Torino, then Inter Milan. Not an easy start for Atalanta. Of course, got Champions League football to juggle with this season. As a nutmeg on Bellingham by De Ketelaere brings Atalanta forward on this near side of Zappacosta. Just about in the final third, but he's been given time to Find a pass, goes back to De Ketelaere. Forward into the corner of the box here for De Roon. Tackled by Bellingham. Drops to Rudiger. Left-footed clearance, which deflects. Headed forward by Ederson. Controlled by Mendy in a left-back position for Real Madrid. Plays it around the corner towards Bellingham. Who keeps it into a knock for Vinicius Junior. Tackled by De Ketelaere. And it is a throw-in for Real Madrid. Thank you to everyone who is still here. If you could like, subscribe, that'd be fantastic. If you've got any score predictions, well, put them in the comments. I'd like to know what result you think this game might be. Will it go to extra time, or will it be done in 90 minutes? As it's with the left-back Mendy. Right, midway inside his own half here. Goes back to Rudiger, then across to Thibaut Courtois, who has made over 100 appearances for Belgium. Of course, has been their main number one for the last 10 plus years, but that ACL injury stopped him from going to the Euros, I think. Don't think the Belgian manager of Tedesco wanted to really risk just returning Courtois, even though with the 5 games he played on his return, he didn't concede a goal. And Belgium didn't necessarily do great in the Euros themselves, knocked out in the last 16 by France. As it's Carvajal heading a diagonal ball from De Roon away from Lookman, and it'll be an Atalanta throw-in on the far side. It's now with number 8, Mario Pasalic. Quickly moving it across to the right-hand side here with Jim City. De Ketelaere. Zappacosta in the final third again, giving time to find a pass. Goes inside to Jim City, keeping the ball away from Tchouameni. Going around Bellingham towards the corner flag. Last touch off the Englishman as he tackles. Throwing for Atalanta. We're definitely holding their own in this game, for sure. As Davide Zappacosta in his hairnets takes this throw-in. Plays it to De Ketelaere, who turns away from Ferland Mendy and enters the box and is clipped there by Rudiger. I don't think so. Referee waves it away. Got around Mendy well, got into the area and tried to just knock it past Rudiger and go around the German international, but was never going to get around him. Went to the ground, referee waved it away, and Real Madrid try and attack, but Atalanta have everyone behind the ball at the moment, as it's with Antonio Rudiger just inside the Real Madrid half. Comes out to this near side to Mendy. No one really making a run in behind here for Real Madrid. It's Vinicius Junior on halfway. Goes to Bellingham. Plays it back into Mendy. Just keeping the ball moving here as Vinicius Junior's tackled by Zappacosta, and they get it forward to De Ketelaere, and Zappacosta's already on his bike on the right-hand side. They find him, the number 77, driving in towards the 18-yard box. Has to go back to De Ketelaere. Beautiful turn away from Vinicius Junior. Scoops it in the box, looking for the run of Pasalic, maybe. Possibly not. And Tchouameni clears it out for a throw-in in the final third for Atalanta. The ball was going to no one in the box there as well, but Tchouameni didn't realise that and chested it away from his goalkeeper, who was about to come out and collect it. And as he chested it away there, Tchouameni nearly conceded the corner, so had to just hurry a clearance away there for a throw-in. Taken and thrown into the box here for De Roon, who gets it across, header off Militao, and cannons the crossbar. Still in on the far side with Ruggeri. Going back on the angle here to Ederson. Almost known goal there for Eder Militao, who got his head in the way of that De Roon cross. As it's scooped into the middle towards Sead Kolasinac, forward from the back, headed away by Tchouameni, but only as far as Ruggeri. Inside again, this time to Pasalic. Loads of time on the ball for the Croatian. Plays it to the edge of the area to De Ketelaere. Can't poke it through to Lookman in the box. Taken away now by Jude Bellingham. Outside of the boot ball for Mbappé. Controls it beautifully. Step over away from Hean. And it's now with Vinicius Junior, midway side the Atalanta half. No one in the central area for Real Madrid as Mbappé stayed out on this left-hand side and he receives it back from Vinicius Junior and gets the ball stuck under his feet. Then tackled by De Ketelaere. And Atalanta have it back in their own half. 25 minutes in, still 0-0. And for me, Atalanta have definitely looked more dangerous, looked more comfortable, if I must be honest. As it's with Lookman on the halfway line. Bodies out on the right-hand side for Atalanta. Works it to De Roon. It's now with De Ketelaere. Got 2 to his right as Zappacosta and Jim City. It's to Zappacosta. Plenty of time again. They love giving Zappacosta time on the ball. Keeps it simple. 5-yard pass to De Ketelaere. But Atalanta, for me, have the momentum at the moment. Every time they go forward, it looks like they could open a space up and get in behind this Real Madrid defence. As it is Jim City going to the halfway line to the number 23 of Sead Kolasinac. Turn 31 in mid-June. Lookman dropping away from that striker position to get the ball here. And he finds Ederson. Keeps the ball away from Tchouameni. And plays it across to De Roon. It's now to this near side to Zappacosta. 1-on-1 with Ferland Mendy. No real pass on forward for him. So this goes back 10 yards to Gym City. As Real Madrid have to sit back here and defend and soak up this pressure. Gym City drives forward, gets in front of Rodrigo, and then goes to his left to Hean, the central centre-back in a striker position. Lays it off behind him to Pasalic. Out to the left now to Lookman, 25 yards from goal. Onto his right foot, away from Valverde. Chops onto his left this time. Tries to play a ball into the box towards Pasalic. Too many clears away. It's not a great clear. It's straight to Ederson, who shoots from afar towards the top right corner. I don't think that was far away from the number 13 for Atalanta. Performing really well. The constant movement from Atalanta when they've got their centre-halves getting forward from the back line, taking up striker positions. I think it's just slightly bewildering, this Real Madrid side. And Atalanta almost scored with that Eder Militao header, heading it towards his own goal. And it canned off the crossbar. It's now Real Madrid who have it after a couple of minutes, having to defend the ball and defend their own goal. Thanks to everyone who's here. If you do want to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, that would be really, really helpful. And it helps the channel out massively. Just a click of a button. And really helps me out. So that would be very much appreciated. As the last two times these sides met was in mid-March of 2021. It was 3-1 at Real Madrid's Academy Stadium, because that's when they were having work done on the Bernabeu. Benzema opened the scoring, and then 2 second-half goals by Sergio Ramos from the penalty spot, and Asensio wrapped it up. A goal in the between those 2 second-half goals was scored by Muriel for Atalanta. As Rudiger just about keeps it away from the press of De Ketelaere. And it's now with Thibaut Courtois just in front of his 6-yard area, not being closed out, so has time to bring this ball forward and play a low pass into the midfield here to Vinicius Jr., who's taken up a holding midfield position here on the edge of the 18-yard box, obviously wanting to get a few more touches on the ball. And he played a left-footed ball into the space, but it's a header away by Kolasinac, so the ball never got into the space. And it's now with Martin de Roon into De Ketelaere, again on this right-wing position. Zappacosta's overlaps, but De Ketelaere goes on his own, plays it into de Roon. It's now to Zappacosta in that final third. No one really in the 18-yard box for Atalanta, so he goes back to de Roon. 28.5 minutes in. Still goalless here in Warsaw. Atalanta certainly holding their own here. Lookman has Rodrigo for company, but runs around him very nicely, shielding the ball, playing it into the centre circle here to de Roon. Back out wide left now to Pasalic. Goes forward with the ball. He's got Ruggeri to his left, then he finds him. Keeping the ball away from Carvajal as he sends it back 15 yards here to Kolasinac, who runs forward with it and plays it into the space for Ruggeri. First time cross goes in, a volley away by Militao. Finds its way to Kylian Mbappé, midway side of his own half. Goes out to the right back, Carvajal. And forward to Valverde. Bit of time on the ball for the Uruguayan as he sends it down to the right-hand side towards Mbappé. But Hean, the central centre-back for Atalanta, sweeps up, clears it away. And it is a Real Madrid throw-in. But they are keeping Kylian Mbappé rather quiet on his competitive debut for Real Madrid. I can't send you a live link because I don't have one. I'm just watching this on my TV. I don't have a live link, unfortunately, for you. But thanks to everyone who is here. It's good, healthy numbers, this, for the first stream. We did 2 at the weekend. Did Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, and Luton, Burnley night before. As it's Ferland Mendy. Plays it on the edge of the box with Mbappé. Tries to do a scorpion kick like flick towards Bellingham. Cleared away by Atalanta just inside the 18-yard box. And it's now with De Ketelaere, who heads it back towards the captain de Roon. Tripped, is he there by Ferland Mendy? Yes, he is. And that is a free kick for Atalanta in their own half. Just relieves that pressure away from the Italian side. As it is 2 Italian head coaches coming together. Ancelotti at the age of 65 and Piero Gasperini at the age of 66. Ancelotti retired in 1992 and Gasperini retired in 1993, so very similar age and had their playing days come to an end at a very similar time as well. As Ancelotti has won the 28 titles as a manager, including 4 Super Cups. Gasparini's only won the one, and that was that Europa League last season. Did win Serie A Coach of the Year twice as well, in 2019 and 2020. So has won individual honours, but was never quite able to get anything over the line as a team. Nearly won 2 trophies last season, Atalanta. Got to the Italian Cup final and were defeated by Juventus in the final, 1-0. And it was a much improved season for Atalanta in the league as well. Finished 4th. The season before that it was 5th. So they were able to get into that top 4. And last season at home, Atalanta won 10 of their last 12 games at home, which really got them over the line into that top 4. Of course, they didn't need to get top 4 for Champions League. Winning the Europa League was enough to get into the biggest competition in world football. But it's always healthy to make sure you qualify through the league. As Atalanta have it on this near side in the final third. De Ketelaere, just outside the 18-yard box at the moment. No one's in it for Atalanta. De Ketelaere gets the ball returned to him by Zappacosta. Tackled by Rudiger in the 18-yard box. He's now in the left-back position with Ferland Mendy. Wanting to go forward and playing it to absolutely nobody. Out of pitch it goes. Throwing for Atalanta, I believe. Don't think it took a deflection. So 32 minutes in. Still 0-0. And if we look at the stats, I think they'll be in the favour of Atalanta. Really. Possession's pretty equal. 1 shot apiece. There's Lookman. 1-2 with Ruggieri. Doesn't quite come off. The Lookman flick was just a bit too short, and Militao could send it back to his goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois. As for Real Madrid, it was just the 2 defeats in all competitions last season in the 55 games they played. Both of the losses were to Atletico Madrid, away in the league and away in the Copa del Rey. Didn't lose any games in the league at home. Their last defeat in the league at home is a 3-2 defeat on the 8th of April 2023 to Villarreal. So they have, the Bernabeu is a fortress anyway, but they've made it even more so a fortress under Carlo Ancelotti. This is his second spell at the club for the Italian. As in the centre circle, the ball's given away by Tchouameni, and first time pass through to Lookman by Edison as Atalanta were nearly away, but it's a really good recovery tackle there by Rudiger to help his team out. Tchouameni. Lookman just couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet and away from Rudiger as he was trying to run towards goal as Valverde now breaks into the Atalanta half down the right-hand side, trying to 1-2 with Carvajal. Doesn't come off, or does it? It does. Ball gets away from Pasalic. It's now with Mbappé. Goes to the left into Vinicius Junior on the edge of the area, shaping to shoot. Flicks into the box instead to Bellingham, who controls it, but can't quite get the shot away. It's brave goalkeeping there by Musso, who put his body in the way. Bellingham, I think, kicked through the goalkeeper. And that'll be a free kick for Atalanta. A big opening there for Real Madrid. Not sure if Bellingham was onside. He may have been. It's a cheeky scoot from Vinicius Junior. And Bellingham's onside. Chested it towards goal. Gone into the 6-yard box. Chested it down with the shoulder. And it's brave goalkeeping. Bit of an awkward landing for Bellingham, who's been booked for the challenge. Slightly harsh to book him for that. He was just stretching to try and get the ball. I wouldn't necessarily say studs her up. I think he's quite unfortunate there. But Jude Bellingham is booked. The man who single-handedly kept England in the Euros in the summer with that overhead kick that he scored in the last 16. He's only ever scored 5 goals for England, 2 of them coming at the Euros against Serbia and Slovakia. Just 21 years of age now, and only turned 21 in the summer, in late June. Crazy young squad really for Real Madrid. Quite an older back line, with Courtois being 32, Carvajal 32, Rudiger 31, Mendy 29, but the attack, Bellingham 21, Rodrigo 23, Mbappé 25, Vinicius Junior 24. So good mix of both experience and youth, but the youth have plenty of quality. It's back underway here. Jude Bellingham's fine to continue, and so is the goalkeeper. That's with Thibaut Courtois on the edge of the Real Madrid 18-yard box. As he clears it forward with the right foot into the Atalanta half. Free header for Jim City. And then volleyed forward by Giroud. Straight to Ferland Mendy. Plenty of time on the ball for the Frenchman. And he goes to the goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid are currently 26 unbeaten in all competitions, with that last defeat being, of course, away at Atletico Madrid, but that was back in mid-January of this year. So, 8 months unbeaten now in all competitions for Real Madrid. But they are being really tested here by the Europa League champions, as they've won it back here at Atalanta, halfway line with Pasalic. Every Real Madrid player inside their own half here as they look to defend this Atalanta spell of possession. Pasalic forward to Lookman. Returns it towards Pasalic, just overhit and went through to Valverde. And Real Madrid have it with their left centre-half of Antonio Rudiger, who ended up spending 5 years at Chelsea. And before that was 2 years at Roma. Also had a 3-year stint at Borussia Dortmund as well. Earlier on in his career, from 2008 to 2011. Missed the Euros quarter-final, Rudiger, against Spain due to a yellow card suspension. As Mbappé on halfway can't turn away from Kolasinac. It's now with Pasalic just towards the far side here. He's got Lookman down the line and he finds him. Lookman stays away from Militao and goes forward to De Ketelaere, who's also joined him on this left-hand side. It's now Pasalic into the area, looking for De Ketelaere, well intercepted though by Tchouameni. Now Valverde in a right-back position, forward here to Kylian Mbappé, shoved to the ground by Kolasinac, and that is a free kick for Real Madrid, given away there by Kolasinac, who has played against Real Madrid twice in his career, Kolasinac, and they were both whilst he was at Schalke in the Champions League last 16 in the 2013-2014 season. So, you know, well over 10 years ago now, when they lost the home leg 6-1 and lost the away leg 3-1. So he's not got the best of memories when facing Real Madrid. Kolasinac, as it looks like Atalanta could fall behind here. Vinicius Junior trying to get himself into the 18-yard box. Kicks it forward, overhits it. And he's shepherded away from the ball by Hien. And that'll be a goal kick for Atalanta. And Gasperini will be delighted with his team's performance so far. Really matching. Well, I say matching, probably bettering the Real Madrid tempo at the minute. When Atalanta have got the ball, they're moving it around quickly and efficiently. But it's given away though by Kolasinac, and it's given away by Carvajal straight to Ederson. So a bit of a let off there for Kolasinac. Cleared away by Ederson though, straight to Carvajal. He's been pickpocketed by Lookman. And then Giroud back to Hien. Out to the left to Kolasinac, lifts it forward to Ederson. Midway side the Atalanta half on that far side. He's tripped by Carvajal. Free kick for the Italian side. Edging closer to half time here. 6 minutes left. Still goalless. There's Ancelotti just having a word there with the fourth official, Mikola Balakin. Throw in for Atalanta. Ball forward by Kolasinac. Just came off the leg there of Rodrigo. It's been slightly quiet so far. Rodrigo. As Giroud. Pass isn't great, but Lookman kicks it away from Carvajal, and as he kicks it away from Carvajal, he kicked through the Spaniard. That'll be free kick for Real Madrid, just on the halfway line, on that far side. Quite fortunate for Real Madrid that was given a free kick, because Atalanta were ready to break. Mendy. Down the line here for Vinicius Junior. Back to Mendy on the halfway line. It's now with Thibaut Courtois. Just struggling to find the pockets of space here at Real Madrid against this Atalanta defence. Being made to go backwards more often than not. Bellingham into the centre circle. Surrounded by 3 Atalanta shirts. Has to poke it back towards Militao. Just about reaches in before Lookman can get there. It's now with Mendy. Into the Atalanta half area, Vinicius Junior returns it to Mendy. And then into the centre circle now with Tchouameni. Out to the right to Carvajal. Bellingham in a central area, away from Ederson. But can't work himself away from Kolasinac. It's now with Jim City, the right centre half. I think there's a foul there on Kolasinac. Just been held back by Mbappé. So that'll be by Bellingham. So that'll be a free kick for Atalanta. Needs to be careful, Bellingham, with the fact that he's now on a booking. That's in the 18-yard box of the goalkeeper Musso, who's been very quiet for Atalanta so far, but his clearance came straight off the chest of Militao on the halfway line. Now Bellingham can't flick it away from De Roon, but the De Roon clearance can't find Zappacosta, and Bellingham takes over once more on this near side. Plays it forward to Mbappé. Now Vinicius Junior. Touch isn't great, and it's given away. Vinicius Junior fouls as he tried to win it back. Another free kick for Real Madrid, and a yellow card for Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior not happy with Martin De Roon, who he fouled. He thinks he's playing up to it there, Vinicius Junior. Not quite sure De Roon knows actually what he's saying. The Dutch central midfielder. Or if he does know what he's saying, he's just completely ignoring him. I mean, he did trod on the foot of De Roon. I think he has every... I think he's got a case for a foul there, De Roon. Like I say, caught the top of his foot, Vinicius Junior. Couple of bookings now, though, in this game. Bellingham booked, Vinicius Junior booked as well. Edison booked for Atalanta. So 2.5 minutes to go before the break. Still 0-0. One shot each. It's been an intriguing game to watch tactically, but not much goal-mouth action as Mbappé has it on the halfway line. Finds Bellingham, who was just next to him. Now to Vinicius Junior on the left wing. Kicks it off for Jim City. Throwing midway side of the Atalanta half for Real Madrid. Throwing into Mendy. Keeps it away from De Ketelaere and goes back towards halfway now to Bellingham. Forward into a central area for Mbappé. Can't touch it into Rodrigo. Picked up by Hean. And Pasalic has it in the centre circle. Lookman making a run off the ball out to the left-hand side. And he's been found as well. Brilliant ball. Adamola Lookman has it. Running at Militao. Onto his right foot. Lookman on the edge of the area. Switching out to the right now to Zappacosta. Takes a touch. Delivers in to the far post. Headed away by Militao. Chested by Lookman. On the edge of the area. He shoots. It's blocked by Militao. And the corner cannot be avoided. Set piece for Atalanta. Second shot of the game for the Italian side. Lookman with it. Blocked before it could get anywhere near the goal. But still positive signs for Gasparini's men that they are really taking this game to Real Madrid. They're struggling to really work out how to deal with this Atalanta build-up with so many players being in so many different positions. Just over a minute until the break. Could Atalanta nick a goal here right before half-time? Lookman with a right-footed in-swinger from the far side into the 6-yard box. It's an easy catch for Courtois. They made it look easy, and he rolls it out here to Rodrigo. Break on for Real Madrid. Down the right flank now to Vinicius Junior. Just 2 bodies up there with him, and about 8 Atalanta bodies back. And Kolasinac fouls Vinicius Junior. Pulls him down. And that'll be a free kick for Real Madrid, taken quickly. And they probably should have waited a little bit maybe, because Atalanta had everyone back pretty much behind the ball, and Real Madrid only had a couple of players forward. They've worked it out though to this left flank now with Ferland Mendy, just before the final third. Wanted to go inside to Mbappé, but forced to go back to Rudiger. It's now in the centre circle with Tchouameni. Militao has it. Not being pressed in the moment, so time on the ball for the Brazilian. Tchouameni forced to go back to the goalkeeper, Courtois. It's going to be a serious team talk at half-time here for Carlo Ancelotti, because Real Madrid don't really know what to do, it seems. Struggling to create any sort of opportunities here as ball's cleared forward into the air by Militao. He heads it into the sky himself here as Bellingham heads it forward into the sky. Headed away by De Roon. Played forward by Tchouameni. Will drop here to Vinicius Junior. Outside the area. In the box he goes. Right-footed shot blocked by Ruggeri. Back to Vinicius Junior on the edge of the area. Plays it through into the box for Bellingham. He's offside, but Rodrigo wasn't. And he hits the crossbar himself. Left-footed shot, slightly off-balanced. Seems like he was always leaning back. Leant back too much. And the shot comes off the crossbar, almost into the top left corner. It dropped to Vinicius Junior on the edge of the area and outside of the boot pass. If he's looking for Rodrigo, that is an unbelievable ball. And just to the left-hand side of the penalty spot, 12 yards out, Rodrigo was allowed to have the shot because Bellingham let it go because he knew he was offside. And like I say, off-balanced slightly. Rodrigo's shot fires off the crossbar. So it's a crossbar each. Atalanta hit it midway inside this first half. A cross from De Roon came off the head of Militao off the bar. And then this time Rodrigo hits the bar out and out. There's about 2 minutes added on here. Played a minute and 15 of it already. As Atalanta clear forward from the goal kick. Flicked on by Pasalic. Lookman will chase it down. Militao will go to the goalkeeper Courtois, who blasts it away on the penalty spot. Up towards Mbappé. Header away by Hien for Atalanta. Second header won by Bellingham. Falls to De Roon. Ruggeri forward. It's a short ball. It's now with Valverde. He tries to play it out to the right wing to Mbappé. Well won back from the Italian side. Cleared by De Roon. It's now deep into the Real Madrid half here with Eder Militao. Who switches it out to the left into the box. What a pass that is, and what a touch from Vinicius Jr. Tries to play it to Mbappé. It deflects away from him and played out to the left by Jim City. An almost opportunity there for Real Madrid as we play the 2 minutes added on here in Warsaw, and the referee Sandro Sierra blows for half time here. And it's Real Madrid 0, Atalanta 0. A very intriguing and tactical first half. Both have had 2 shots, and each side have hit the crossbar. Atalanta hit the crossbar after a cross from De Roon was headed onto the bar by Eder Militao. And just right before the break, Rodrigo, 12 yards out, probably should have opened the scoring but didn't with his left-footed shot towards the top left corner. He also hit the crossbar. In terms of clear openings and fluidity, Atalanta look the better side. Real Madrid so far just struggling slightly. And after a slightly uneventful first half, but definitely one which, has you engaged, it's Real Madrid 0, Atalanta 0. Like I say, if you are into your tactical football, where you are interested in how teams move around off the ball and how they set up tactically, that's probably an enjoyable half. But if you're more of a football watcher who just likes the action and just wants to see goals and shots, then you probably found that slightly boring. But it was just, I found it more interesting with the fact it was Atalanta who were looking the better side and working the ball better, pressing better, defending better. And it was just intriguing to see if Real Madrid could, kind of work out what they needed to do to look better during that first half. At the end of the first half, they were looking slightly better, hitting the crossbar at the end with a brilliant ball from Vinicius Jr. to find Rodrigo. But overall, if it was a boxing fight, and I'm not much of a boxing expert, but if it was a boxing fight and you had a card of scoring that first round, say the first half, I'd give that Atalanta just, not by much, but I think with the players that they've got compared to Real Madrid and the players they're missing as well, Atalanta are missing key players. Koopmeiners is out, Scalvini's out, Scamacca's out. That is 3 players that would more than likely walk into this team. Koopmeiners certainly would, and Scamacca would. They both started the Europa League final. Scalvini may have been on the bench. He is slightly young, but has got bags of potential. So they are missing key players. And, this is a fully strengthened and full strength Real Madrid side. I mean, the only player who would usually probably play is possibly Camavinga. Camavinga may have played instead of Tchouaméni in that midfield. Modric is 38 now. I don't think he'll be starting many games. Luka Modric only started 23 last season. He started 50% of the games he played in. So this is pretty much full strength Real Madrid. And like I say, they just seemed a bit bamboozled by Atalanta and just finding it hard to work goal-scoring opportunities. And at half-time, it is 0-0. Make sure you do come back in around 10 or 15 minutes if you are going to go and do something else while we wait for the second half. Do make sure you return for the second half, because I'm pretty certain a goal will come before the 90th minute. I hope so anyway. But I think the only worrying sign for Atalanta is that Real Madrid just have so many players that can change the game within a second. It's not like they need to work a chance to score a goal. At any point, Vinicius Junior could pick up the ball and take on about 5 players and put the ball in the back of the net himself. They do need to be careful that the Real Madrid individual quality is kept quiet like it has been for the majority of this first half. But I don't know if it is a nervous performance, because I don't know. I don't think he would be nervous. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not in his head. But it just seemed a bit nervy from Kylian Mbappé on his Real Madrid debut. Again, not too sure if that's nerves or just getting used to a new team, a new system, a new way of playing. I don't know. But he just seemed a bit off it. I mean, he was off it as well in the Euros as well, it must be said. I know he suffered that broken nose, which I think was a big cause for him having a drop-off of performance in that tournament. But again, today he's just not looked great. If I'm going to be completely honest, not to be too negative to Kylian Mbappé, but Real Madrid have picked him up on a free transfer. Of course, they'll be signing on bonuses, and his wage will be huge. I completely understand that, but I think to avoid having to pay any fee certainly helps save a bit of money. Because you might remember a few summers, I think it was 2 summers ago. Was it last summer? Can't quite remember, but Real Madrid put in like a 150 odd million pound bid for him to try and buy him, because he was still contracted at PSG. But that was rejected. That was rejected by PSG, and they've ended up picking him up on a free transfer. Kylian Mbappé last season in club football scored 44 in 48. The season before that, he scored 41 in 43. He pretty much guarantees you a goal a game around that. And, he possesses just so much pace. It's absolutely ridiculous how quick Kylian Mbappé is. His only real test that I've seen in terms of his pace was Kyle Walker in the World Cup in Qatar. That was a real one-on-one battle that I enjoyed watching. But at the minute, it just seems a bit, just seems a bit lost. Obviously, at PSG, he was mainly used on the left wing, but I don't think Carlo Ancelotti is going to give up playing Vinicius Junior on the left. I think he wants to keep him where he is, so it will mean that Mbappé will more than likely have to play in a more central position now, occupy defenders and move into different spaces. But I think it might take a couple of weeks just to get this new Real Madrid front line ticking and working and understanding each other's roles and positions, because of course, they're pretty much adding an extra attacker into their attacking line, because last season it was mainly Bellingham, Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior with an extra central midfielder, but now it's 4 forwards really, with Bellingham sat behind the 3 up front. But again, tactically, Atalanta have been superb. Their defensive work has been brilliant so far. I do think Real Madrid is taking a bit of time to readjust to this new shape they're having to play with now due to the arrival of Kylian Mbappé. But the second half will be getting underway in about 5 minutes' time, as both teams have hit the crossbars. It's not like we've been starved of any action, but we have lacked it. And if anyone's going to create anything for Real Madrid, it is certainly Vinicius Junior. He played that ball through, about 5 Atalanta bodies to find Rodrigo, who hit the bar. He also scooped one into Bellingham, who was onside, but his touch off his shoulder was heavy and it went straight through to the goalkeeper. So I think it's definitely Vinicius Junior who Atalanta need to keep an eye out on in the second half. Vinicius Junior did score twice against Bayern Munich in the semi-final, first leg away from home, and then scored in the final as well against Dortmund to make it 2-0. He also signed a contract extension last year in October to keep his stay till at least 2027. But at the minute, I genuinely think either of these two sides could win it. And that goes to the same for Atalanta. I think the difference will be, and I know I mentioned individual quality before, but it's going to come down to if you get that major chance, who's going to take it? You know, in that first half, there wasn't many. You know, Rodrigo had a big chance there, hit the crossbar. You know, Atalanta might get their big chance in the second half through Lookman, and it'll be down to him to take that chance. You know, you might only get one or two. That's the levels and you know the quality you need to have at this top level. You need to be able to take one chance if that's all you get, and it might just come down to that in this game. As Atalanta finished the season strong last season, which obviously coincided with winning the Europa League. They won 6 of their last 7 Serie A games. Atalanta, and you know they only ever play 3 at the back. They never play anything else. They might have a different variation of what they play up front. If it's 2 out and out wingers and 1 striker, or maybe 2 strikers and a number 10, that can change. But it's always usually a back 3 for them. And they only lost once last season in the Europa League in their run to win the title, and that was in their second leg at home to Liverpool. But of course, it didn't matter that they got beat 1-0 because they won the first leg away at Anfield 3-0. And I think as well, the most impressive thing for me for Atalanta was the fact that they won the Europa League final just a week after losing the Italian Cup final to Juventus. You know, sometimes if you lose a final, you can become really deflated and almost just jump to conclusions that you're just not going to win the next one. But they parked that aside, and their performance against Bayer Leverkusen was nothing short of outstanding. Tactically, just got it right, and every player performed to the absolute peak of their abilities. It was a great watch, and it was a very much deserved win for Atalanta that night. The second half will be underway in a couple of minutes' time now, hoping for some goals. I'd really love to see, I know we're meant to be neutral here, but I would really love to see Atalanta win this. Win their second European trophy in their history, and they both come in the same year. That would be exciting for them, and we don't want to see Real Madrid win anything else because they're going to win a lot in the next few years when this team clicks. This is the first time they are playing with Mbappé, so it's just a slight change in shape. Once they get sorted and they're settled in their shape and they understand the new way of having to play, it's going to be hard to stop them. It's going to be very hard to stop them. I think the thing is, which might not help Real Madrid. I mean, every time you play Real Madrid, you obviously have to step your game up. Like that, that's a given. But I think now with the addition of Mbappé and just the absolute, filth of that front four, teams are gonna gonna step it up even more, if that's even possible. I don't know if you can step it up more when you play Real Madrid, but they're gonna really be focused, and they know they will have to be at the best of their abilities. Some Real Madrid teams of the past few years, not last year, but a few years before, when they were just a little bit all over the place with their team, when they had like Sergio Ramos at the back and Varane at the back, just going through a bit. It was a transition really for Real Madrid. When they were going through their transition, they weren't really the force and the scary team that they are now, and so I think teams will see that starting 11 and just go, we've got nothing. We cannot be anything else but perfect. And Atalanta, I think, have got that mindset tonight. They know they have to concentrate for the entire game. You can't really afford to give any sloppy passes, because if they do, it could be punished, and more than likely will be punished. I definitely think the first goal as well will be important. I mean, the first goal is always important, but I feel like if Real Madrid get the first goal, that might kind of spur them on to go and score a second and third. And I think it'll also open up Atalanta as well. If they get 1-0 up and there's 10 or 15 minutes left and Atalanta have to go for it more. It will leave loads of spaces, and then that's when the Real Madrid quality comes in with the pace they have. They could just catch Atalanta on the break rather easily. But if Atalanta get ahead and they have something to protect, it will be even harder for Real Madrid to get in behind and create spaces in the final third, and they're already struggling to do that. And it'll be even harder if Atalanta can get themselves ahead. The second half is going to get underway in a couple of minutes now. Still 0-0 in Warsaw, the host nation, the host city for this final at the PGE Narodowy Stadium, formerly known as the National Stadium. So both sets of players are back out for the second 45 minutes. I don't believe there was any half-time changes. It'll be Real Madrid kicking off, kicking left to right. Atalanta right to left, so both teams attacking the goals with their own supporters behind. And Real Madrid have got us underway with Carvajal sending a high ball towards Rodrigo. He controls it, but can't be kept away from Kolasinac, but he plays it as far as Bellingham, who works it towards Vinicius Jr., kicked away by Jim City, all as far as Tchouaméni on halfway. It's back with Real Madrid possession, as they want to try and step it up in this second half. Rudiger, ball over the top towards Bellingham, header won by Hien. It's now with Dirun midway inside his own half here. Finds the left wing back of Matteo Ruggeri, who lifts it up towards Ederson, the central midfielder going up towards the striker position. Loses out to Eder Militao, and it will be a Real Madrid ball now in the centre circle with Rodrigo. Out to the left to Jude Bellingham. Finds Mbappé in the more natural left wing position, running at Jim City into the box on his left foot. Mbappé strikes. It's wild, high, wide, and a goal kick, but a much better start for Real Madrid in the opening minute of this second half. Mbappé finds himself on that left wing position, running at the Albanian 31-year-old onto his left foot. Angle was tight, so even if Mbappé could have worked that on target, I think the goalkeeper Juan Musso probably would have had it covered. As Atalanta go long, it deflects off Tchouaméni to Lookman, who now has options out to the right, and he finds De Ketelaere. Rudiger's coming across to close him down. He's in the area, onto his left foot, tries to find Lookman on the edge of the area, deflects off the Nigerian, back out to the right to De Ketelaere. Rather fortunate because the pass from the Belgian wasn't great. Now on his left foot, De Ketelaere laying it off for Dirun. Outside the area, he's allowed to cross it into Mario Pasalic, and it's such a good save from Courtois. It seemed like it was destined to hit the back of the net there, but Thibaut Courtois was able to dive to his left and parry that ball behind for a corner. But 8 yards out, Pasalic losing his man of Militao, who was lost in no man's land, and with that right arm going across, Courtois tips it away for a corner, taken by Lookman. Gets the return from Pasalic. It goes in low towards Jim City, who goes to the edge of the area to Ruggeri, who can strike it first time, and off balanced it goes a couple of yards wide, and that's a goal kick. Both teams showing signs though at the start of the second half, they wanting to score. Mbappé had the first chance a minute in, sending it wildly wide, but that one from Pasalic could have gone in. Got up well with the header, going across goal towards that top right corner, and it's fingertips from Courtois. It's Courtois the one to send it forward beyond the halfway line, looking for Mbappé. Comes off the shoulder of Rodrigo. It's now with Atalanta on halfway, with Zappa Costa on the far side. Going back here to Jim City. 3 minutes into the second half, still goalless, but an exciting start. Kolasinac at left centre half, finding Ruggeri. Lifts it forward down the line for Lookman, chests it back towards Ruggeri. Does find its way to an Atalanta shirt though of Ederson, who kicks it off Carvajal. Midway side the Atalanta half. On this near side, it's the Italian team's throw-in. It'll be taken by the number 22, Matteo Ruggeri, who joined the club back in 2011. Giving it away, Pasalic looking for De Ketelaere. It's now with Mendy, taking it beyond the halfway line. Completing a 1-2 with Vinicius Jr. Going to the left now again to Mbappé. Back 10 yards inside the Atalanta half. He slips it through into the box for Bellingham. He's got away from De Roon. Bellingham angles tight. Chops onto his right foot. Finds a pass to Vinicius Junior in the corner of the box on the left-hand side. Tries to play a pass towards Mbappé. Cut out by Hean. Cleared by Ederson. And it will be kept in by De Ketelaere. Going back to Zappacosta. Well defended there by Atalanta, but better from Real Madrid. As De Ketelaere's touch just gets away from him on the halfway line. Won back by Tchouameni. Now Real Madrid come again, just over 4 minutes into the second half. Vinicius Junior onto his right foot, finding Bellingham, using his body to keep it away from Kolasinac. He's been sent out towards the left wing here. Bellingham on his right foot, running across the box, looking for a switch out to Carvajal. Controls it well. Lifts it to the far post. Over the head of Vinicius Junior, who keeps it alive on that far side. Takes on De Ketelaere. Into the box, kicks it off Zappacosta, wins a corner. Both teams starting strong in this second half as Real Madrid have a set piece to try and get the opening goal of this final. In swinger, deep to the far post. It's an easy catch for Juan Musso though in the end, as it was aimed towards Jude Bellingham. Atalanta's number 1, Juan Musso, throws it out to the left here to Ruggeri. Passes it to Lookman on halfway. Inside into a more central area here to Ederson. 1-2 with Pasalic in the centre circle here. Ederson forward to De Ketelaere. Returns it to Ederson. Keeps it away from Valverde. Lookman in a left wing position. Now Ruggeri, the wing back, in the final third. 1-on-1 with Mbappé. Goes back though into Ederson. Space out on the right side for Atalanta. If they can work it quickly enough, they can't. De Roon eventually goes out to the right to Jim City. But Real Madrid have shuffled across here. So with Zappacosta, everything to his left here in the final third. Real Madrid setting up strongly though as Jim City almost dispossessed there by Rodrigo. And it's a throw in for Atalanta. Last touch off the Brazilian. And it'll be left to be taken here by Zappacosta. Waiting for some movement here, Zappacosta. As he wants to take the throw in as quickly as possible. Throws it towards the corner flag to De Ketelaere. Tackled by Tchouameni. And he fouls Mendy from behind. And in the left back position. That'll be a free kick for Real Madrid, who were prone to conceding goals last season. And when they did concede, they usually conceded quite a few. They conceded 3 or more 5 times last season. So that's 15 goals on its own there conceded in all competitions. And 10 goals last season were conceded against Atletico Madrid in 3 games. You know, that's over 3 goals a game average that they conceded against Atletico Madrid. So they were vulnerable at times, but not very often. As Vinicius Junior in the box, left-hand side, surrounded by 2 Atalanta shirts, goes back to Tchouameni, then to the right to Carvajal. In the corner of the box on the right-hand side, the cross goes in, can't be avoided, the corner, as it deflects off Ruggeri. And that'll be a corner for Real Madrid on this near side. Won by Dani Carvajal. He's got 1 year left on his deal here at Real Madrid. Expires in 2025. Rodrigo, outswinger to the penalty spot. Flicked away to Vinicius Junior outside the box. In the box he goes. 1-on-1 with Zappacosta. Going across to Valverde. Slides in and kicks it back to Mendy to keep it away from Lookman. Mendy to Bellingham. Vinicius Junior back to Bellingham. Everyone behind the ball for Atalanta. As Bellingham gives it away, looking for Mbappé in the box. De Roon into the centre circle to Lookman. He's got Ederson out to the left, who's making space, and he'll find him here. The number 13, midway inside the Real Madrid half, wants the 1-2 with Lookman and completes it. Ederson now in the final third, in a left wing position, running at Carvajal, trying to get beyond him in the box, and he does, but he can't get away from Militao. It's a great run that from Ederson. Militao helping his right back out. As Carvajal gives it away, not a great chipped clearance to Valverde, picked up by De Roon. It's now Lookman again. Out wide left to Ruggeri. Forward to De Roon. Returns it to Ruggeri towards the corner flag. He tries the cross, deflects off Valverde. Picked up by Rodrigo, who goes down over the challenge. And that'll be a free kick in the right-back position for Real Madrid. And it's been taken quickly here to Bellingham in midfield. Beyond one player and beyond a second. He's got Vinicius Junior running to the left. Mbappé to the left. And Vinicius Junior to the right. Goes to Mbappé on the left. Who's trying to sprint around Zappacosta. And he does just that. Kylian Mbappé towards the corner flag now. Tackled well there by Pasalic. Throwing in the final third for Real Madrid. But when Mbappé was going forward, he didn't exactly have a lot of support in the box to aim for once he got through. But he was tackled by Mario Pasalic anyway, as we're just over 9 minutes into the second half. Still goalless here in Warsaw. It's Carvajal in a right wing position, trying to link up with Rodrigo. Still Carvajal to Rodrigo, touch inside, sends him away from 3 Atalanta players, pokes it through once more to Vinicius Junior. And he's tackled on the edge of the area. It's now dropped to Pasalic, to Ketelara. Now to the left wing back, Ruggeri. Lookman's ahead of him. And he finds him away from the sliding challenge of Carvajal. Lookman now running towards goal. Plays it for De Ketelara, who's got it in the box. Cuts it back towards Lookman. Touched away from him by Tchouameni, and De Roon can't get it to Lookman. And Real Madrid can work it out to the left by Carvajal. Finding Rodrigo. He's got Vinicius Junior to his left. Lays it off to him. Vinicius Junior in the final third. Outside of the boot, ball goes in towards Bellingham. Header away there by Klasnac. Always finds Valverde, who runs into the area. Back heels it for Bellingham. Left-footed shot, and it's over the bar. No deflection. And that'll be a corner. That'll be a goal kick, sorry. Jude Bellingham tries to G up the Real Madrid crowd. Not his greatest of hits there. Jude Bellingham, the number 5. He was the youngest ever Birmingham goal scorer at the age of 16 years and 63 days. Of course, the famous story of Birmingham retiring the number 22 number when he left the club. It's Musso. Goal kick for Atalanta, out to the left to Ruggeri, over him and controlled well by Lookman. Touch off Carvajal, thrown for Atalanta on this near side. Just inside their own half, right in front of Carlo Ancelotti. Throwing goes to Lookman. One from behind there by Carvajal. It's now Rudiger in the centre circle, bringing it forward beyond the halfway line. Still with Rudiger in a central area. Back heeling it to Bellingham. Then back through for Rudiger in the box, who goes over the challenge of Hean. And not given. Rudiger doesn't want it. Gets straight up and sprints back as quickly as possible. It still remains 0-0 here between Real Madrid and Atalanta. That's midway inside the Atalanta half. It's Ederson curling out to the right to De Roon. Forward to the halfway line to De Ketelara. Lookman's making a run. And De Ketelara's going to look for him. And he finds him. And he's onside in the box. Lookman, one-on-one with Militao. Tries to step over against him, but he can't quite get beyond him. Still alive for Atalanta. Ruggeri on the left-hand side. Crossing to the far post. Mendy flicks it away with the header. And it will be kept in by Zappacosta on the far side. It's to De Roon. Down the edge of the area to Jim City, the centre-half, who's going to fancy a shot at goal, blocked by a sliding Bellingham. And the second ball's a header away by Bellingham, so is the third. Bellingham battling with De Ketelara, and he keeps it away from him, and that's brilliant from Bellingham. It's so good from Bellingham, and eventually brought down by Ederson, who needs to be careful because he is on a booking. That's what Jude Bellingham's all about. That is Valverde, the Uruguayan. He scored in the Copa America in the summer. Valverde, as Uruguay finished third in the end, beating Canada in the third place playoff match. As it's Real Madrid with the ball settled in their own half with the back line. Militao sending it to the right back, Carvajal returning it. Well, tried to return it to Militao, but instead went to Vinicius Junior. Now Carvajal again on halfway, lifting it for Vinicius Junior, who's sprinting away from Hean. Tries to slip a ball through to Mbappé, but it deflects and it's through to the goalkeeper of Juan Musso. Again, not a bad attempt from Real Madrid. It's definitely better, the football they're playing in this first half compared to the second, but still not good enough to get the opening goal of the game yet. Lookman, slide tackle by Carvajal fairly, and it's now on the halfway line with Militao. Forward for Bellingham. Slips it through for Mbappé. It's brilliant. Mbappé can't quite get it inside there away from Hean. Brilliant defending from the Atalanta number 4. And again, Real Madrid just starting to knock at that door. Mbappé did the right thing, tried to take on Hean, but he defended it well, the Swedish international. But a poor clearance from the goalkeeper is headed inside by Mendy to Bellingham. Now in the corner of the box on the left-hand side with Vinicius Jr. Goes on the outside of Jim City, gets past him, squares it! And Valverde scores for Real Madrid. They were knocking on that door, and eventually they've knocked it down and got through this Atalanta defence and has opened the scoring here in Warsaw. Just over half an hour to play. It's their new number 8, Federico Valverde, who has taken the number of the retiring Toni Kroos. And it starts with Bellingham finding Vinicius Jr. in that dangerous position on the left wing. And the dangerous thing about Vinicius Jr., he can go left or right. That time he went left towards the byline, kept it in, pulled it across the 6-yard box, and an unmarked Valverde. He had the easiest tapping. Simply couldn't miss, and he was never going to miss. Couple of yards out, Federico Valverde scores the first goal for Real Madrid in this new campaign. Scored just the 3 goals last season. Valverde, 9 less than the season before. He's hoping to try and get his numbers back up again for goals. He started the right way in this Super Cup final. He's the one to open the scoreline. And it's Real Madrid 1, Atalanta 0. Like I was saying, the football was improving by Real Madrid in this second half. It was starting to flow better, and they were starting to find more spaces, and it was just the final action that was letting them down. If that's just not taking on the last defender or the pass isn't great, as Bellingham feeds it through for Vinicius Jr. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. That's a fantastic save. Atalanta now being cut open too easily, and they've had to call upon their goalkeeper to get them out of jail. They could have been 2 down there right from kick-off. Vinicius Jr. one-on-one. The ball just bounced up on him, and he tried to lift it over the goalkeeper, who had his left arm up, and he was able to tip it over the crossbar for a corner. It's a brilliant save. Vinicius Jr. probably believes he should have scored as the corner goes in. It drops to Bellingham in the area, and it's blocked. It's looping towards goal. It's parried away by the goalkeeper and cleared away by Ruggeri in the end. Absolute mayhem in these last couple of minutes. We've had a goal. We've had a Vinicius Jr. chance that should have been taken. And now Eder Militao's down, so the referee's blowing the whistle. Bellingham had it, tried to just play it into that far corner, placing it from 12 yards out. It was well blocked, but the blocked ball went towards the goal where the goalkeepers had to dive and just about slap the ball away. He did land on Militao, as it is going to be Gian Piero Gasperini to react it to this Real Madrid dominance that they've just started to get over the last 5 minutes. And they're going to make a double change. So one of the changes we'll see the number 77, Davide Zappacosta. He'll be replaced by the number 5, Ben Godfrey. New signing, brought in for €12 million from Everton. Looks like he'll play at the right wing-back position. And another change, a bit harsh, I think. He's been one of the more positive players for Atalanta. But Charles de Ketelaere, the Belgian international, will be replaced by another new signing. It's number 32, Matteo Retegui. Signed for €25 million from Genoa. Born in Argentina, but had Italian grandparents, so does represent Italy at international level. And he started once for Italy in the Euros, in that final group game against Croatia. So 2 new signings on for Atalanta as they try and ride this storm. So it looks like Militao will be okay to continue, as he's just been dealt with during that break of substitutions. But it is 1-0, and it's Atalanta who have to try and respond now. That's a good sign to see. Ben Godfrey signing a 5-year contract here in Italy. Is Mbappé, 25 yards out, central area. 1-2 with Vinicius Jr. And Mbappé can't quite get away from Ben Godfrey, who towards the far side will keep it in. He'll play it inside to Jim City, who's been tackled by Bellingham. And then fouls Bellingham. And that's a free kick on the left wing here. Real Madrid have a free kick and Jim City has a yellow card. Just wasn't aware or couldn't hear the communication that there was Bellingham chasing him behind. And as he tries to go and win the ball back, does he get any of the ball? No. Bellingham gets there first and he catches him. Plain and simple, free kick and a yellow card for me. So Barat, Jim City, booked. So it's going to be a delivery in for Real Madrid as they look to double their lead if possible. So the cross goes in from Rodrigo. Header won by Hean for Atalanta. Drops to Bellingham on the edge of the area, who volleys it, and it's blocked by Jim City. Still alive on the right wing here for Mbappé, who will let the ball roll out for a throw-in, as it came off an Atalanta player last. So Carvajal will come across to take it. Completes a 1-2 with Mbappé. Carvajal then goes back to the goal scorer, Federico Valverde. Now to the left to Mendy. Vinicius Jr. has it. Plays it to the edge of the area to Bellingham, who turns in the box away from De Roon. Bellingham is brilliant, and it's a save from the goalkeeper. And cleared by Ederson. They're hanging on for dear life here, Atalanta. Bellingham should have scored. It was a great turn in the area. As Ruggeri has it in the corner flag, kicks it down the line, but straight out of touch. And that's a Real Madrid throw-in, who are all over the Italian side now. The tables have really turned here in the last 15 minutes of this game. So it looks like Atalanta want to make more changes, but they won't at the minute, as Real Madrid work it from... Well, they want to work it from right to left from the throw-in. Militao's forced to go back to Rudiger, and then Rudiger's forced to go back here to Courtois. And it's well pressed there by Atalanta to force Real Madrid into their own half here and into their 18-yard box. It goes to a right-back position here to Valverde. Quarter of the game left to play in Warsaw. Rudiger. Forward into the space for Valverde. Pokes it on once more to Mbappé in the left wing position. On the halfway line. Goes back to Valverde. Sees a switch out to the right-hand side towards Bellingham. Loses out the first header there to Ruggeri, who now has it for Atalanta in a left wing back position. Forward to Lookman. Takes on Militao. Lookman driving forward on the left wing. Into the box. Holds it up. Still with Lookman. Goes for a cross off the head of Valverde. It's still with Atalanta here with Ederson just in front of the centre circle. Out to the left to De Roon. To Lookman. In the final third. Plenty of Real Madrid bodies back here. Lookman on the left wing. He's got Ruggeri in support. But Lookman wants to go alone. But then eventually has to go back to Ruggeri, who crosses it first time into the box. And a kick forward from De Roon goes quite far wide in the end at the near post. But it's the first real attack from Atalanta for a good 10 or so minutes. They've been heavily pinned back and they've been conceding a lot of big chances. One of them leading to a goal through Federico Valverde, assisted by Vinicius Jr. But Vinicius Jr. should have scored himself right after kick-off, being played through by Bellingham. Bellingham could have had a goal of his own as he turned well in the box, but it was saved by Juan Musso. So it could easily be 3-0 for Real Madrid, but it's still just the one. And Atalanta are in the game, but Hean's been dispossessed by Rodrigo. Vinicius Jr. making a run through the middle. He's been found. Vinicius Jr. tries to square it, goes right through to Bellingham at the far post. Onto his right foot, to the penalty spot, for Mbappé! And he smashes it into the top right corner. And the start of a new era has well and truly begun here at Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappé gets his first Real Madrid goal. And it is inch perfect into that top right corner. And this Real Madrid team look dangerous. They are dangerous. They're going to cause teams so many problems. They are a side you will simply not want to face. And they have really put on a show in this second half. First half was slow, sloppy, looked a little bit all over the place, but second half they've sorted it all out. Look a lot more free-flowing when attacking. Bellingham having great vision to slot it through to Mbappé, who's making a run towards that penalty spot. Just beat Hean to it, and with that right foot, arrowed it into the top right corner. No chance for Juan Musso in the Atalanta goal, who was trying everything he can to keep this game as a low score as possible, but he couldn't stop that one. And with 21 minutes left to play here in Warsaw, it's Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0, and the Real Madrid era with Kylian Mbappé is underway, and he's got his first goal for the club. Thing is with Kylian Mbappé as well, just 25. He's got so many years left to play at Real Madrid. You know, he scored 256 for PSG. He became their all-time leading scorer in the end. You know, 256 goals in 308 appearances is healthy numbers, but in this Real Madrid team, it could be so much more with what he's got around him. As Mbappé flicks it through for Vinicius Junior, and in the box, he's been tackled by Jim City, toe poked away by the Albanian, and Real Madrid smell blood here. It looks like they could score with every single attack they're having so far. How are the lads? Big up, are you okay? Geordie, hope you are enjoying this live commentary. Make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already. As Atalanta are going to make a third change here. Sed Kolasinac, the Bosnian defender, will be replaced here by number 20, Mitchell Bakker, brought in at the start of last season from Bayer Leverkusen for €7 million. He is a Dutch wing-back, came through at Ajax, spent a couple of years at PSG as well. So, on he comes for Atalanta for the final 20 minutes of the game. There's an outswinger from Rodrigo on this near side, goes in towards Militao, over him. Header away for Atalanta, as far as Bellingham on the left wing, in the box. Cuts onto his right foot, then onto his left, taking on Retegui, but then tackled by Jim City. Now Retegui in a right-back position for Atalanta, tripped from behind by Bellingham. And that is going to be a free kick for the Italian side, who have just been outclassed in this second half so far. They really held their own in the first half. I thought they were the better side in the first half, Atalanta. Not by much, but just slightly. But the second half has been a completely different story. And I think as well, if Atalanta did have their key men, you know, Atalanta are missing players, as we've already mentioned throughout the commentary, but, you know, Scamacca, new signing, Zaniolo's out injured, Coop Miners not available, Scalvini as well, and an experienced centre-back, Toloi. You know, they're missing big names, Atalanta, they really are. I'm not saying that would have stopped this from happening, but, you know, it probably would have helped them maybe score a goal in that first half if they had the likes of a Scamacca up front. But it's definitely no embarrassment to lose to this kind of Real Madrid team anyway. As Atalanta have it on this near side. It's Bakker on off the bench. Crossing low, and it's parried by Courtois. Nearly drops to Lookman in the area. Cleared by Tchouameni. Not a bad ball in that by Bakker. Lookman has it again midway inside the Madrid half. Can he work it through to Edison? He nearly did. Valverde slid in. Bakker kept it in. Ruggeri goes forward to Edison. Returns it to Ruggeri, but the referee blew the whistle for a free kick. Ruggeri was away down that left-hand side as well, all alone. In fairness, the referee did look to apologise there. He knew he should have played the advantage. But Atalanta have got themselves playing again already down this left flank. Edison lifted it in the box. It's a great ball. Chest away for Pasalic to keep the ball. Bakker crosses again. Headed by Tchouameni this time up towards Vinicius Junior. Facing his own goal. Turns away from Darun and then runs forward. Vinicius Junior bodies out to the right. Just behind Mbappé. But he will keep it in. Ancelotti tells him just to relax the play. As Mbappé finds Rodrigo. And it's back with Real Madrid possession. Not a bad little spell that for Atalanta the last couple of minutes. Just trying to find themselves back in this game as Bellingham takes on one player and a second. Nearly slips but carries on. Bellingham in the box surrounded by Atalanta shirts. Forced to go outside the box there. He worked it to Tchouameni. It's now Rodrigo in the box shooting towards goal. Well held by Musso. Got the ball there from Mbappé. As Atalanta build from the back with the right centre-half area of Jim City. De Roon, edge of the area, takes it away from Vinicius Jr. It's now Ederson. Out to the left to Lookman. Bakker is galloping forward with him. Lookman keeps it though for now, as they are deep into the Real Madrid half. Pasalic. Across to Ederson. About 25 yards from goal in the central area. Works it out to the right to De Roon. You know, if Atalanta get one back, you know, it's only one goal behind. Need to try and keep the tempo high if possible. Jim City, everyone behind the ball for Real Madrid, bar Mbappé. Ruggeri, out to this left now with Pasalic. Bakker to Pasalic again. Bakker making an advanced run, but Pasalic goes inside to the right to Ederson instead. Forward to Retegui. Can't take the ball ahead of Rudiger, and he will storm away with it. Rudiger can't get away from Ederson. Shoved to the ground, and the referee likes it. Don't mind it. Bit of a shoulder used by Ederson. Took Rudiger to the ground, and Atalanta have the possession back. Rudiger is back in possession. And it's Atalanta who are in possession. Godfrey on the far side. Going into the midfield to De Roon. Midway side the Real Madrid half. Goes to his left to Pasalic. Can he go left once more? He can to Lookman. Now Retegui. Back to Pasalic. It's now to Ruggeri out wide, who will cross it in. It's a good cross. It's towards Godfrey. It deflects towards goal. It has to be cleared by Militao. Bit messy. Still alive for Atalanta. Godfrey in the box. Turning away from Bellingham. He goes down. I think he just slipped more than anything. And it's now with Mbappé in a left back position. Flicks it in to mend it. Godfrey catching Mbappé. And that'll be a foul and a free kick. Godfrey trying to work it towards goal. And he was able to kick it towards goal. And it was Militao who got it away. Not far away that from Ben Godfrey, who's come off the bench for his Atalanta debut tonight. Brought in from Everton for €12 million. He's never played in Europe, in European competitions. So this is the first time for Ben Godfrey's experience in that. As Real Madrid are going to make a change. Number 11, Rodrigo, comes off for the legendary, the iconic number 10 of Luka Modric, who played in his 5th Euros in the summer, scored as well against Italy in the group stage, signed a new one-year deal in the July of this year. Never scored though in a Super Cup final, as Dani Carvajal passes on the armband to the number 10 of Luka Modric, who turns 39 on the 9th of September. Just incredible longevity for the Croatian, who's now making his 535th Real Madrid appearance, looking for his 40th goal for the club. Now 12 years he's been at Real Madrid. Luka Modric's Courtois goes up towards Mbappé, header won by Hien for Atalanta, and the Italian side have the ball back, just inside their own half at the moment, as Ederson goes out to this near side to Bakker. Halfway line's Pasalic. Out left to Lookman. Can't work it on once more to Bakker. Does deflect off Carvajal to Ruggeri. So Atalanta still have it now with 13 left to play here in Warsaw. It's Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0. Pasalic, midway side, the Real Madrid half. Modric is coming towards him. Works it back out wide right here to Godfrey, who will cross it into the area towards Retegui. Rudiger wins the header though. Valverde controls it. Fouled by Pasalic, and that'll be a free kick for Real Madrid. And Real Madrid work it forward out to the left wing of Vinicius Jr., who's now well inside the Atalanta half, running at Jim City again. Vinicius Jr. in the box, just Mbappé up there with him. He goes back though in the end to Ferland Mendy, who was making his way into the attack. Modric into Vinicius Jr. Back to Modric. Now Bellingham midway side the Atalanta half in the central area. Works it to the right to Carvajal. Now Valverde, the scorer of the first. Back out to Carvajal. Pushed to the ground by Lookman. Carvajal's hurt himself there. Carvajal isn't happy here with Lookman. It was just a push there by Ademola Lookman. Ancelotti just telling Rudiger to shut up, I think, there, really. Obviously, Rudiger has to get involved, as always. Bellingham just standing by Lookman, I think, just to make sure he doesn't get attacked by a Real Madrid player. Just slightly caught the ankle. I don't think Lookman meant it. Just as Lookman was going across Carvajal and giving him a slight shove, he did just catch the ankle of Carvajal. But it wasn't on purpose. He's not gone in with his studs to try and catch him. But I can see why Carvajal would be slightly annoyed because, if that hits him more on the ankle, that can be a bad injury to have. And we don't, want bad injuries to any players, even though Carvajal did win the Euros in the summer and did that crying face. Who was it to? I think it was to Saka after a foul or after a tackle on Saka. He did that to him, basically telling him he's a baby. So, a bit disrespectful, that Carvajal. But he is known, all of the Real Madrid players are known for that, that, not acting, but, the play acting side of the game. I'm just going to put it as it is. Bellingham's changed a lot in his mannerisms on the pitch, trying to win fouls and buy them. And, when he doesn't get them, he's very eccentric with the way he reacts. But that's just the Spanish side of football. It's they are successful the way they do things, so I'm not going to comment on how they should change any of that. But 10 minutes to go, we're back underway here. It's on the halfway line. Near side, Ruggeri, the left wing back for Atalanta, goes into the middle to Edison, lifts it up to Retegui, tries to nod it down to Pasalic, but it goes straight to Modric instead. Not a bad idea from Retegui as Bellingham plays it through down the left to Mbappé, keeps it away from Jim City. Real Madrid's new number 9, already got one goal. Can he get an assist as he tries the outside the boot cross to Bellingham? Comes off Jim City, who can avoid a corner. Absolutely smashes that away. And Mendy heads it back forward, caught there by Retegui. And that'll be a free kick for Real Madrid, just inside the Atalanta half on that left-hand side. Just caught late there by Atalanta's new signing, Matteo Retegui. 25 million euros from Genoa. Scored 7 goals last season in Serie A. Didn't score against Atalanta, though. And he's never played in European competition as well. Never played in the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. So this is his first taste as well. It's Valverde. 1-2 with Carvajal. Carvajal midway side the Atalanta half. Still got Valverde in support. Finds him. It's back to Carvajal again. Bellingham switching out to the left to Luka Modric. Forward to Vinicius Junior, dummies in. It goes through the legs of Jim City. And Vinicius Junior gets onto it towards the byline. Forced away from goal by Darun and Hean. But goes to the edge of the area to Modric. Chops onto his left foot. Back onto his right. And then plays it through for Vinicius Junior, who's onside. Byline. Cross goes in. Deflects across and away. Played towards goal by Valverde. And that's a goal kick given. Very unfortunate for Vinicius Junior. It's a brilliant ball from Modric to cut through the Atalanta defence. That dummy was unbelievable. Nutmeg Jim City, but Vinicius Junior put it across. It deflects off the thigh of Jim City, and thankfully as it bounced towards the line, the spin of it bounced away from goal. And then Valverde slammed it away over the crossbar. Goal kick for Atalanta. 8 of the 90 to play. And it's still 2-0 to Real Madrid. Mbappé scoring his first for the club. A very emphatic finish as well into the top right corner. And his Real Madrid competitive debut will be coming to an end after 82 minutes. Kylian Mbappé will be replaced here by the number 21 of Brahim Diaz, who's making his first ever Super Cup appearance. But it's one game for Mbappé for Real Madrid, and it's one goal for the Frenchman, assisted by Jude Bellingham. I'm sure them two will be the future of this football club. As he gets all the handshakes from his teammates on the bench, as he can rest for the final 10 minutes or so of this game, as it does look like Real Madrid are going to be Super Cup winners for the 6th time in their history. Atalanta, have held their own in this game, but second half have never really looked like scoring, in all honesty. Real Madrid really switched it on this second 45 minutes, and they are 2-0 up now. As Atalanta trying to tap down the right with Godfrey. Jim City, though, gives it away, looking for a pass into the midfield to Pasalic. It's now Modric on that far side. Finds the substitute of number 21, Brahim Diaz, who scored twice in pre-season for Real Madrid. As he tries to play a ball through here towards Bellingham, it deflected to the Englishman, but it's dealt with by Ruggeri, who gets the return from the goalkeeper. Then forward to Ederson, out wide left now to Bakker. Good football from Atalanta. We know they can play good football as he looks for Lookman and it gets to him as it was Carvajal sliding to try and intercept the pass. Lookman has Carvajal chasing him in the box. Gets away from the first challenger, Carvajal, then plays it through here for Retegi. Working space, can't find the space, and then it deflects off the defender of Real Madrid into the gloves of Courtois. Not quite sure who that came off in the end there. I think it was Militao. Decent little opening there. I mean, we know Lookman is Atalanta's danger player, but he's really shown it again tonight how good he is, scoring that hat-trick in the Europa League final. Unfortunate for Retegi, got the touch away from Rudiger, but his touch ended up going off Militao and into Courtois. I think 2-0 as well. It's just a bit too big of a mountain to climb for Atalanta to try and force this game to extra time. There's Valverde on the near side, forced all the way back here to Luka Modric, who's well inside his own half. Just clips it high out to the left centre half of Antonio Rudiger. Forward to Brahim Diaz, brilliant turn on the halfway line. Brahim Diaz still going forward, finding Valverde. Then to Modric, just in front of the centre circle in the Atalanta half. 5-yard pass to his right to Bellingham, who then goes back to Tchouameni. So Rudiger, forward to Modric, and then into the centre circle here with Tchouameni. Everyone behind the ball for Atalanta, as we've got less than 5 minutes of the 90 to play here. Then Real Madrid are 2-0 up. Valverde and Mbappé with both of the goals in this second half. Carvajal, sloppy pass, gives it away to Darun. Out wide to Ruggeri. Down the line for Lookman. Got Ruggeri overlapping him at wing back. Other than that, not got much support going forward. Has to go back to Darun instead. Now Pasalic into Retegi. Touch keeps him away from Tchouameni. Now Ederson, the Brazilian midfielder, goes to Pasalic. Forward to Darun. Completes the 1-2. Pasalic again. With Lookman now. Just outside the 18-yard box. Everyone back for Real Madrid. Bar Jude Bellingham. Bakker. Playing it across to the edge of the area to Darun. On once more now. Godfrey. Low ball. Comes off Mendy. Out to Darun. So Atalanta can continue the attack here. With Godfrey out wide right. Quick 1-2 with Ederson. Jim City. Ball deflects through in the end to Ederson. Bakker in a central midfield position here. Goes to Pasalic and out wide once more to the left to Ruggeri. Lookman just inside the area. Goes back to Pasalic. Back through for Lookman. Keeps it away from Militao. Pokes it through towards Ruggeri. Valverde slides in. Concedes the throw-in. As it looks like Real Madrid want to make a triple change before the end of this game. As Ruggeri takes the throw-in quickly here to Bakker. Solid defending here so far by Real Madrid. Lookman slips over, but it deflects through to Bakker. Now Ruggeri in the left wing position. Takes the touch and then delivers it to the far post where it's a miss-hit volley by Godfrey. In fairness, Mendy looked like he was hitting it away, he was heading it away, but Mendy missed it, then it went through in the end to Godfrey, who went for it and completely sliced it, and wide it went, and out for a goal kick. Not known for his goal scoring, really. Ben Godfrey didn't score during his time at Everton, never scored in the Premier League as well. Even in that season, he played for Norwich in the Premier League. So I think we're going to get these 3 changes now for Real Madrid, as we've got 2.5 minutes left of the 90. So the first change sees Vinicius Jr., who assisted the first goal for Valverde. He'll be replaced by number 15, Arda Güler, who scored once, and it was an absolute thunderbolt in the Euros for Turkey against Georgia. Didn't play any of the games in the Champions League last season, though, Arda Güler. Second change, we'll see number 5, Jude Bellingham, another assist maker, but for the second, and for Kylian Mbappé. So Bellingham off for the number 19, Dani Ceballos, who had a 2-year loan spell at Arsenal a couple of years back where he won the FA Cup. This is his 148th appearance for Real Madrid. And the third change, we'll see number 2, Dani Carvajal, coming off for number 17, Lucas Vazquez. And Lucas Vazquez comes on for his 350th Real Madrid appearance, so a nice little landmark for the 33-year-old who signed a one-year extension in this summer to keep him at Real Madrid. Lucas Vazquez has been at the club now since 2007. So we've got just over a minute left of the 90. Plenty of changes made now for both sides. As Retegi keeps the ball alive with a header to Lookman, beats Modric to it, and then Militao slides in. And Lookman jumps over him, so avoids any contact, but still given as a foul by the referee, because it was a little bit reckless from Eder Militao. And Atalanta are going to make two more changes here. Isaac Hien, who made an error for the second goal, giving the ball away. He'll be replaced by number 27 of Marco Palestra, usually a right winger or wing back, making just his second first team appearance. And the second change, we'll see number 8 Mario Pasalic come off for number 44 Alberto Manzoni, who's currently playing for the Atalanta under-23s, and this is his Atalanta first team debut. So, nice few moments for a couple of younger Atalanta players who have made the trip to Warsaw tonight. So, about to hit the 90th minute. Wonder how much added on time we will get. It's now Ruggeri at left centre-half for Atalanta, just inside their own half. He slips on the ball. It's Ardagula who has it, doesn't really hurry to advance forward. It's now on the halfway line with Valverde. And now Militao. Gasperini not happy, the Atalanta manager, but they've really given it a good go tonight. Atalanta, I thought they were just slightly better in the first half, I really do. They did it at the crossbar with a deflected cross, but second half, Real Madrid's quality really did shine through. And we've got 2 minutes added on. And we've played 30 seconds of it already. And it's just Real Madrid in the 18-yard box. Courtois takes a touch of his left foot, clears it with the left, up towards Ferland Mendy. Comes off De Roon. And it'll be a throw-in the left-back position for Real Madrid. So just over a minute before Real Madrid win a 6th Super Cup. They have won 2 of the last 3 now, beating Frankfurt in 2022 and now Atalanta in 2024. And this will be Real Madrid's 100th official trophy that they've won, which will be quite a cool little landmark for Real Madrid to hit. That's from my research anyway. Official trophies. It is 100 for them now if they win tonight, which looks very likely. As Real Madrid still have it in their own half. Ardagula brought to the ground there by Mitchell Bakker. And with 30 seconds left, it's just a matter of time and a blow of a whistle until it's confirmed that Real Madrid have won the first piece of major silverware in Europe for this season. Ball down the right channel here. It's going to be given chase to by Ceballos, but Godfrey beats him to it and goes to the goalkeeper of Musso, who plays it to his right here. To Ruggeri. And then back it goes here to De Roon. We've played the 2 minutes of added on time here in Warsaw, waiting for the referee's whistle. Ball played down the left-hand side, controlled by Lookman, flicked over his head, can't find a blue and black shirt. It's now Modric, down the right wing for Valverde, inside for Vazquez. Tackled there by Ederson, tripped by Vazquez. That'll be a free kick for Atalanta as we still continue. Despite playing the 2 minutes of added on time here, referee doesn't look exactly ready to blow the whistle yet. As Atalanta have it on the right-hand side here with Palestra. It's on the halfway line with Jim City. It's Ederson. Bakker in the final third. Plays it off to Ruggeri. Ederson. Forward now. And a ball played through to Lookman. Good sliding challenge though by Militao. Header by Valverde to Modric. Then played forward to Diaz. Almost that. Decent little ball there by Manzoni. As Atalanta tried to get a little consolation goal, but that will not happen for them as the referee finally blows for full time, and Real Madrid are the UEFA Super Cup champions once again, defeating the Europa League winners of last season, Atalanta, by 2-0. They were given a real game in that opening 45 minutes. Atalanta just edging it for me. But in the second half, after a good 5 or 10 minutes, when Real Madrid really settled in and started gelling, they were able to start causing Atalanta real issues. They came close a couple of times before the first goal, but Valverde was the one to open the scoring with half an hour left. It was a ball by Vinicius Jr. taking on the Atalanta defence, taking it towards the byline and pulling it across, and Valverde had an easy tap in from a couple of yards out to make it 1-0. And just 10 minutes later, Kylian Mbappé on his Real Madrid debut capped it off with a goal, assisted by Jude Bellingham, putting it into the top right corner from just 12 yards out. Atalanta gave it a really good go. They've got to be proud of themselves, especially coming up against such a super team like this Real Madrid team is. But in Warsaw, in this Super Cup final, it is Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0. Thank you to everyone who did end up listening. If you did enjoy, make sure you do like and subscribe if you have not already. But as we are now well underway for this new footballing season, it is Real Madrid who take the first piece of European silverware. They beat the Europa League winners of Atalanta. They were given an almighty game in the first half, but they really shone through in the second. Mbappé starts his career at Real Madrid with not just a goal, but a trophy. And it's Real Madrid winning once again. Here in Warsaw, in the Super Cup final, it ends Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0.